ultimately why we got into this business was not because I wanted to do better for the society or to create less waste. I got into this business, if you want to know the truth, because of getting divorced.
Really?
Absolutely.
What do you mean?
Well, prior to opening up the first change of address in Los Osos with Suzanne Cloverdeen, and I don't know if she wants her name out there, but Suzanne Cloverdeen is Wyatt's mom. Suzanne and I became friends because we were going through divorces. We were in the same situation in the early 2000s, and we were stay-at-home moms up into a point, and we didn't know what we were going to do.
Really?
Yes. We were going from husbands that took care of us and let us stay home to raise our children to being single moms and not knowing where we were going to get an income from. I didn't have any skills. I didn't finish college. I was really good at spending money. And I had made jewelry at that point for about 15 years. But it wasn't going to pay the bills.
Yeah.
So Suzanne and I came up with the first change of address in Los Osos, which was a consignment store. And consignment is completely different than what we are now. Consignment is when people bring you an item. So say you brought me this reserve sign and you want to sell this, and this is like the most spectacular reserve sign in the world. This is like vintage, it's 100 years old, it's worth so much money. You would loan this to me for a set number of days, and when I sell it, I would give you a percentage of what it sold for. So I'm not out any money up front, I'm out money once I've sold it. If it doesn't sell, I give you your reserved sign back.
And did you make any money?
We did really well. But it's hard when you're...
no, sorry, like, back to the consignment thing, like, did you make... So say you have it, doesn't sell, you give it back to me. Did you just make money? Did I give you money for...
Nobody made money. I didn't make money. Okay. You didn't make money. Let's say you have this reserved sign. You brought it to me. I sell it for $10. When you do it on consignment, it's a percentage of what I sell it for. So if it was $10, just to be easy, I get 60% of what it sells for. You get 40% of what it sells for. So you get $4 for your sign. I would get $6. So yes, it was very lucrative.
What's lucrative mean?
Successful.
Okay. Is consignment the way to go?
It was until they tell you to close your store in 2020 and you owe a bunch of people that you've sold all their stuff. You owe them their 40% cut and you don't have any money coming in. Consignment is phenomenal when you don't have to pay up front for your inventory, but it is devastating when everybody comes to collect the money because everybody's panicking because they don't know where their next meal is coming from. They don't know what's happening with their economy. They don't know if they're about to lose their jobs, their houses, their cars. When you become in crisis, everybody's calling to collect all at once. And that's kind of what happened to us back in March and April of last year.
So how are they collecting money from you off of consignments when you hadn't even sold it yet? Or did you sell it? I had sold it already.
Okay. So
then why didn't you just give them their money?
So change of address worked on the 90-day system. So you brought me this sign 3 months ago. I sold it and you get paid 3 months after I've sold it. Everybody, when they did the shelter at home in February, March, they panicked and were worried that we were going to close and that they weren't going to be able to collect their money. Regardless if it was a month earlier, 2 months earlier, 3 months earlier, everybody called us, regardless if they were due or not, because they wanted to get money because they were worried that we were going to close and basically take all their inventory, not give it back to them, and then also take the money they were due. So I had everybody paid out as fast as I could. I took every dime that I had to make sure that every person that we owed money to for the items that they had sold got paid.
So why was that detrimental to you guys? Didn't you already make that money? So say you made
We did.
so
But
you
it's
made-
kind of like robbing Peter to pay Paul. I don't know if you've heard that saying. It's
Never
basically
heard of it.
so when you're in small business, money, you need that ebb and flow. So you need that money coming in so that you can pay out people you owe, and that you can also bring in inventory so you can sell it, and then it's a circle. So when you close down business and you don't have any money coming in, how are you going to pay anybody? You rely on inventory and customers to bring in your income. Plus you have overhead. So you've got your rent, you've got your insurance, you've got your credit cards, you've got your credit card processing, you've got your employees, you've got all of these things that you also have to pay on top of where you get your inventory. So, I mean, your overhead is also in that too. I mean, we had to make X amount of dollars every month to make sure that, number one, all of those overhead prices were paid. Plus, there was also the consigners. But you always had a constant flow of money in. Always. To be able to pay. But that money literally stopped dead when we had to close.
Got it.
When we closed up, when they told us to shelter at home. And we couldn't do online sales. I know everybody said, well, why didn't you just sell online? But you can't sell items that are used online when you don't own them. When they're loaned to you, they were not my property to sell. Does that make sense?
If they're loaned to you and the purpose is for them to make money, aren't you trying to sell that loaned property?
Yeah, but let's say you wanted to buy this reserve sign and it was a consignment item to me. So $10 for this reserve sign.
Mm-hmm.
Say somebody in North Carolina wanted this. There's also $3.80 in shipping.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay that shipping? $3.80 is the $4 that I owe you.
Yeah.
So it didn't make any sense.
Got it. Okay. So, now I see what you're saying. What about local people? Like, do you think people would have came on the website and bought it or no?
So let's go back a little bit further. So in February, March, when the nation, the state and the nation told us we all needed to shelter at home,
Yeah.
I did what I was told. I sheltered at home along with a lot of other business folk. There was a lot of people that actually stayed within their stores, especially in downtown, to upload items onto their websites to keep that money coming in because they had to. There's no other choice. And they would do, what do they call it? In-store pickups. They would deliver them. Business owners were driving all over the county to just deliver to people,
Things.
to make it to make those sales.
Yeah.
So we couldn't do that because the inventory did not belong to me legally. Everything in the store was loaned to me. So legally, I could not sell it. I could not sell it online. I just couldn't.
Why?
I know that it sounds confusing because I didn't own it. You can't return something. So say you bought this and it was smaller or larger than you thought it was going to be. We didn't accept returns. With used items, with resale items, we don't do returns. You know, it's a used item. It's going to come with its flaws and its cracks and its things that are wrong with it. It's sold as is, pretty much.
Yeah.
And when money is tight and your economy is kind of already strained, people want to touch it. They want to look at it. They want to feel it before they purchase, especially in our business model. What happened when we closed, after I realized that everybody was going to need to be paid out at once, the timing was kind of interesting for our store in particular because our lease was actually expiring. The change of address on Morrow Street, the lease was up in June. So I actually had a few months to decide what was going to happen. It also just happened to coincide with us attempting to move on to Higuera Street. So this really sucked.
You were going to move on to Higuera?
Yeah.
Is that an upgrade?
It was.
Shut up.
So we were attempting to move change of address from Morrow Street onto Higuera. There was a location that was available between Hepcat and Hands Gallery. It was going to be primo real estate for us. We were going to keep the Morrow Street location, and Taj was actually in on this. We were going to turn it into just a men's store, kind of like a hipster surf, old vintage, surf movies, surfboards, skateboards, surf apparel.
Dude.
It was going to be rad.
What?
So that was what was going to happen. I had started writing the business plan for it. That's how good 2019 was.
You guys just had like extra like fun money.
I was about to finish a small business loan that I'd had for 5 years through a company called Women's Economic Ventures in Santa Barbara. They had loaned me 30 grand 5 years ago, and I was about to bank my final payment in March. And I was going to ask them for a new loan and have 2 stores. We were going to have a store. We were going to have change of address on Higuera, which was the women's consignment. And then we were going to open a store, and we were going to call it Boomerang.
Boomerang?
Boomerang.
Who came up with that name?
I did.
What?
So it goes out and comes back in. So we were going to open up Boomerang, which was going to be a men's store.
Dude, I wish you would have opened the men's store.
I realize I owe all these people all this money because we have this software that tells me how much money we've made, how much money we owe, all of that. And I'm about to lose my business because I can't sell any of the things that I have. I have to give back items that I had just taken in from people. I have to give it back to them because nobody's shopping. It's just going to sit in my store.
All of the items that you have, the 20 grand worth of items you have, why don't you just give it back to all of them? Or is it because
it had already sold? It had already sold. So I owed $20,000. I actually had already
done other things with the
I'd already gotten the 60%, my 60%,
and already spent it.
Oh yeah, it was gone on paying other consigners, on paying rent, on paying myself, on paying my employees.
So it's just a constant flow
absolutely,
of money. Okay.
Absolutely.
I see. Okay.
Absolutely. So that money was already gone. The only way I was going to be able to pay them was to be making more money. The store in San Luis made upwards of $20,000 a month.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
You guys were fucking
killing it.
Killing it. Wow. Okay.
So going from having mass amounts of money to absolutely no income.
Yeah, that's shitty.
And 2019 was so awesome. We bought a house in Atascadero.
Yeah.
We bought a brand new house, Sean and I. I bought this transit van. Shit was going awesome.
Yeah.
To top that all off, I get a phone call from New Times telling us that we'd won Best of SLO.
Like the best store in SLO, or just like one
the best consignment store in SLO in 2020. We won.
What?
We won. No, I think, was it 2019? No, 2020. We won Best of San Luis Obispo 2020.